everybody, what's going on? Eric here, and you see I got a little bit of work done in this thing. Stripped it all apart and found a couple of problems, minor problems, nothing really too problematic. It was basically a loose output jack, and then the volume pod was a little bit loose as well, but everything else seems to be pretty good. No problems with that. If you ever notice anything like scratchy pots or they're a little crackly or something, it kind of means that possibly they're dirty instead of being worn out. And what I end up using with is the D5 deoxit. Now this has more of a cleaner in it than a lubricant, and if I need something that has a little bit more lubricant in it, I will use the F5 deoxit. The nice thing about these two is they are adjustable as far as how the flow comes out when you push the trigger, and you have less waste with these. So if you set it on low, you're just putting a minimum inside the pot, and it's not spraying all over the place. I used to use the shit from Radio Shack, and that shit was pretty wasteful. You end up spraying too much and it gets all over the place. That stuff is real nice. So if you have like a real dirty pot, the D5 works great. There's a minor lubricant inside of it. If you need something where the pot is kind of like really hard to turn, the F5 works pretty good. There's also a cleaner inside here, but it's mild. So I straightened out the neck in this thing, checked the frets. Frets are good, and ended up basically just going over this thing a little bit. Got the cavity taped up, as you can see, and a lot of people are worried about using this type of tape. This is the stuff you get at your home improvement store. It's for duct work. It's for sealing up all the seams between two pipes and stuff. And because of the adhesive, people think that it will not like conduct between two pieces when they're kind of like overlapping each other. Well, this is a multimeter. It has a conductive setting on it to where if you take the two and put them together, it makes a sound. So here we go. Seems like it's working to me. Now there's a trick of putting this stuff on, and what happens is when you put the tape on this, you want to really squish it down to where the adhesive kind of spreads a little bit. And I kind of use anything that's solid or hard surfaced tool or whatever, and kind of push some pressure on there, get it into corners real nice, and spread it out pretty good where the adhesive makes contact and it kind of spreads a little bit to where the two pieces of metal will touch each other a little bit. Works out pretty good. Now the next thing I have to do is the pick guard, because all they did was a little piece right here. I kind of want to coat this area as well and hope it makes a good contact with this. Another thing that was inside my last video was about the saddles on this thing. I ended up getting a comment about, well, don't you want your saddles arched or with the radius of the neck? Yes, you do. But some people will do a thing where they'll adjust the screws to where one is lower than the other, really twisting the saddle quite a bit. And I don't go for that. And some people will argue with this and say, oh no, you can do it either way. But I really think that this is probably the right way of doing it, and this is how I was taught as well. Even out the saddle to where it's pretty much flush, pretty flat, and kind of step up from there and then step back down to go with the arch of the neck, making sure that you're turning the screws evenly on both sides, so when it raises the saddle up, it raises the saddle evenly, not on an angle. Some people will argue with that. Some people will say that it doesn't really matter, but I kind of think it does, maybe. But anyways, so far I'm off to a good start with this thing, and next thing I want to do is, like I said, the pick guard, and put this thing back together, solder up my ground wires, and be done with it. Get it stringed up, see how she sounds. So that's it for now. You guys take care.